The stars were cold and distant, scattered like silver dust across the endless black. In that empty stretch of forgotten space drifted something vast, something that should have been a myth. It was shaped like a dragon, though not like the dragons told in old human tales of castles and knights. This one was alive, yet part machine, a creature of flesh and metal fused together. She was larger than any battleship, with wings spread wide though they were broken, their edges torn and crusted in strange growth. Her scales of alien alloy were no longer smooth. They were buried under centuries of rust. Slime oozed across her body, and thick barnacles clung to her sides like tumors. Most who passed through the sector turned away at once. The sight of her made even bold captains uneasy. Some whispered that she was cursed, a remnant of an old war. Others believed she was already dead, just a hollow husk floating forever. But those who looked closer and dared to listen knew the truth. She was not dead. Her massive chest still rose and fell in slow, heavy rhythm. Faint pulses of light still flickered within her core. She was alive, but barely. For years, no one came near her. Then one day, a small human repair craft entered the system. The ship was nothing special, just a worn vessel patched many times before. Inside sat a lone mechanic named Tom. He had no crew, no fancy weapons, no mission of glory. He traveled from system to system, taking small jobs to survive, fixing broken satellites, clearing debris, and patching old freighters. His life was quiet, but his hands were steady, and his heart still carried curiosity. Tom had planned to cut through the system as a shortcut. His fuel was low, and he was eager to reach a trade station nearby. Yet as his scanners swept the dark, they caught something unusual. The signal was faint, buried under static, but it was alive. Tom frowned at the reading. Few signals appeared in this part of space. He turned his ship toward the source. At first, he thought it was a derelict station or a ruined ship. But as he drew closer, his eyes widened. The shape stretched across the void like a sleeping mountain. His small craft felt like a grain of dust before it. When the light from a distant sun touched the creature, he saw the rust, the barnacles, and the slime. He realized then what he had found: an alien dragon, like the ones told in scattered rumors across the galaxy. Tom's breath caught. Many would have fled. Salvagers spoke of cursed wrecks that lured greedy crews to their doom. Military logs warned of ancient war machines too dangerous to wake. Yet as Tom stared, he noticed the slow rise and fall of her chest. His scanner confirmed faint life signs. Against all logic, she was still alive. He leaned back in his seat, uncertain. He was no hero, no scientist, no warrior. He was just a mechanic. What could he do for something so vast and broken? His ship's repair tools were small, meant for cargo haulers and outpost walls. The thought of helping her seemed absurd. And yet, Tom did not leave. His gaze lingered on the dragon's ruined form. Something about her stirred a strange feeling in him. It was not fear. It was pity. He whispered to himself, "You're still alive, aren't you?" As if in answer, the dragon's eye opened, just a sliver. It glowed faint, like a dying star. For a moment, Tom thought it was only a trick of light. Then he heard it not through his ears, but in his mind. A voice, weak and broken, reached him. "Small one," it said, each word heavy as stone, "I am not yet gone." Tom froze. He had never spoken with anything like this before. The voice was deep and tired, carrying both sorrow and pride. "Who are you?" he asked aloud, though he knew she was listening beyond sound. "I am Mother," the voice answered. "I was once guardian of many. I fought in wars long forgotten. My kind is gone. I remain." Her eye closed again, as though even those few words had drained her strength. Tom sat in silence, his ship drifting near her massive body. 1,000 thoughts filled his head. He could leave and no one would know. He could send a signal to scavengers who would strip her apart for rare metal. That path would make him rich. But when he looked at her again, covered in rot and decay, still clinging to life, he felt the decision already forming inside him. He whispered, "I can't just leave you like this." His ship touched down gently against her corroded side. Magnetic clamps locked him in place. He suited up, pulled on his helmet, and stepped out into the void. His boots pressed against her alien surface. Up close, the barnacles were huge, some larger than his own ship. Rust crumbled under his gloves as he touched the ancient metal. Her skin was cold, yet beneath it he felt a faint vibration, a sign of life. Tom activated his torch and cut away at the barnacles, clearing a patch. The work was slow, and the debris floated away into the stars. It was like cleaning a monument that had been abandoned for ages. He worked until his arms ached, then paused to breathe inside his helmet. "You are small," the voice returned, faint but steady, "yet you try." Tom smiled under the glass of his helmet. "I'm a mechanic. Fixing broken things is all I know." And so, in the empty silence of forgotten space, a human mechanic began the impossible task of restoring an alien dragon. Most would have called it foolish. But for Tom, it was simple. Something alive was broken, and he would not turn away. The stars watched as man and dragon took their first steps toward a bond that would change the fate of both. Tom stayed on the dragon's side for a long while, his torch still glowing in his hand. The stars stretched far behind him, cold and endless, yet his attention was fixed only on her. The alien dragon mother, as she had called herself, was not simply a machine, nor only a living being. She was something in between. Every line of her armor carried scars of battles long past. Every breath she took seemed to shake her massive frame, like an old ship struggling against the void. When Tom returned inside his small craft, he removed his helmet and sat in silence. The dragon's faint voice still echoed in his mind. He had repaired broken ships, faulty engines, cracked hulls, but never had he spoken with something so ancient and vast. His hands trembled, not from fear, but from the weight of what he had just discovered. "Why me?" he muttered to himself. "Out of all the ships that could have passed, why did I find her?" The dragon's eye opened again, its glow faint but steady this time. Her voice filled his thoughts. "Because you stopped. Many saw me. None stayed. You are the first in many years." Tom swallowed hard. He leaned closer to the glass of his cockpit, staring at her huge, tired face. Her scales looked like ruined metal plates, cracked and peeling. Strange lights flickered weakly beneath them, as though her veins carried electricity instead of blood. "You're dying," Tom said softly. "Yes," the dragon answered. "I am fading. My body is weak. My wings will not carry me. My fire is gone. I am only a shadow of what I was." Her words carried no anger, only sorrow. Tom felt a sharp tug in his chest. He thought of old machines he had fixed, engines left to rust in scrapyards. He remembered how it always felt when one hummed back to life under his care. This was different, larger, heavier, yet the feeling in his heart was the same. Something broken wanted to live, and he could not turn away. He asked, "What happened to you?" The dragon was silent for a long moment. Then her voice returned, soft but heavy like thunder. "There was a war. Long ago. My kind was many, and we guarded the skies of countless worlds. But our enemies were cunning. They did not fight us with honor. They poisoned us, trapped us, left us to drift. One by one, my kin fell. I fought to the end. And when I could fight no more, I hid in the dark. I thought I would heal. But centuries passed. I remained alone." Tom listened closely, every word sinking into him. He had read about old wars in the archives. Most were fought between human factions or alien empires. But no history book had ever spoken of giant living machines that once ruled the stars. He realized then that the dragon's story was older than human memory. "Your kind is gone?" he asked. "I am the last," she whispered. "The mother of none. My children fell long ago." Her eye closed again, and for a moment Tom thought she had slipped away. He hurried to his controls, checking her life signals on his scanner. They were faint but still there, steady like a weak heartbeat. Relief washed over him. Tom spoke firmly. "You're not gone yet. You said you thought you would heal. Maybe you still can. I can help." The dragon's voice returned, carrying a faint trace of surprise. "You are small. What can one human do?" Tom let out a dry laugh. "I may be small, but I fix things for a living. And you're not dead. That means you can be fixed." There was a long silence. Then, slowly, the dragon said, "Perhaps. But why? Why risk yourself for me? I am nothing to your people. You could leave and none would know." Tom leaned back in his chair, staring at the vast shape outside his window. His ship was tiny against her. She could have crushed him with a single movement, yet here she was, too weak to even lift her head. He felt no fear of her, only respect. He answered simply, "Because you're alive. That's reason enough." For the first time, the dragon's voice carried something different. It was faint, but Tom recognized it: gratitude. "You are strange, human mechanic. Very strange." Tom smiled, though his face was tired. "You can call me Tom." "Tom," she repeated, the sound deep and slow in his mind, as though testing it. "Then I thank you, Tom." Tom knew then that his path was set. He could not leave her here to rot. He checked his supplies: welding torches, patching foam, plasma cutters, sealant packs, energy coils. It was not much, far too little for a task so large, but it was a beginning. He guided his ship to another section of her body, where cracks ran deep through her armor. His scanners revealed corroded circuits and broken conduits beneath. He landed, stepped outside once more, and began his work. Each strike of his tool echoed faintly across her hull. Every cut of his torch peeled away layers of slime and barnacles. As he worked, the dragon spoke again, slower this time. "It has been long since anyone touched my body without hate." Tom paused, then answered, "Well, get used to it. I'm going to be working on you for a while." She gave a low hum, almost like a tired laugh. It echoed through his mind, strange but not frightening. For the first time in centuries, the alien dragon felt a spark of something she thought she had lost forever: hope. And for the first time in his life, Tom felt he had found something greater than any machine, greater than any ship. He had found a living legend, and she had trusted him. The void around them remained cold and silent, but inside, a bond had begun to form. Man and dragon, small and great, broken yet alive. The first encounter was not of fear, but of trust. And it would change both of them forever. Tom rose early by his ship's clock, though there was no sunrise in the empty stretch of space. The stars outside were as cold as before, scattered like shards of glass across the black. His small craft clung to the dragon's side, a speck against her massive frame. She floated in silence, her breath slow and heavy, her eye closed as if she were resting. Tom rubbed his face with his hands. He was still tired, but there was no time to waste. The dragon's systems were failing. If he did not act, her life could slip away. He opened his tool chest and carefully selected what he would need: welding torch, energy coils, cleaning solvents, and repair foam. The tools looked small and ordinary in his hands, yet he carried them as though they were weapons in a great war. Before stepping out, he spoke softly into the air, knowing she could hear him even without sound. "Mother, I'm starting the work today." Her voice entered his mind, faint but calm. "I feel your presence, Tom. Do what you must. I place my trust in you." Tom pulled on his suit, sealed his helmet, and stepped once more onto her surface. His boots clamped onto her armored scales with magnetic force. All around him stretched endless curves of rusted metal and slime. Barnacles clung like thick, jagged stones. Some pulsed faintly with strange alien growth, as if they were alive. He ignored them and began clearing his first section. The work was hard. His torch cut slowly through layers of hardened barnacle shell. Pieces cracked away, drifting into space as debris. Underneath, slime oozed out, clinging to his gloves. Tom wiped it off and continued. At last, beneath the mess, he uncovered dull silver plating. The metal was strong, but it was cracked and eaten away in places. He spoke through the connection of thought: "Your armor is still good in many places, but there are deep breaks. I can patch them." Mother's voice hummed gently. "You are careful. It has been long since anyone cared for my wounds." Tom did not answer right away. He was too focused. He applied repair foam to the cracks, sealing them. The foam expanded, hardened, and held firm. Then he placed energy coils along damaged conduits. Sparks danced as he reconnected circuits. The dragon shivered slightly, as though the touch of power stirred her body. Tom smiled under his helmet. "That's better. Do you feel it?" "Yes," she whispered. "Like a faint warmth. Long forgotten." Hour after hour, Tom worked. He moved across her body in slow steps, clearing, welding, sealing. He cut away broken plates and added patches from his own ship's supply. Every task seemed small, yet each one mattered. The dragon's breathing grew steadier as the day passed. Inside his ship, alarms buzzed once in a while, warning of nearby movement. Tom checked his scanners and saw blips: other ships passing through the system. He grew tense. He knew what scavengers were like. If they discovered what he had found, they would tear the dragon apart for her rare materials. He spoke to her again while working. "There are scavengers out there. They might come." Mother's voice was calm, though still weak. "They have circled for years. They wait for me to die. But you are here now. Perhaps they will think twice." Tom frowned. "I'm not sure I can protect you if they come. But I won't stop repairing. We'll face them if we must." The dragon was silent for a long time. Then she said, "You are only human. Yet you speak as though you carry the weight of many. Perhaps that is why you stayed? Tom laughed softly. Or maybe I'm just too stubborn to walk away. His arms ached from constant work, but he kept going. He cleaned another section, this time near her wing joint. The joint was fused with rust, its gears frozen. He heated the area with his torch, hammered at the rust, and forced the joint to move slightly. The dragon groaned, a deep rumble through the void. Did that hurt? Tom asked quickly. It burned, she replied, but it is a pain I welcome. It means I am not yet gone. Tom gritted his teeth and worked harder. He poured solvent into the cracks, dissolving grime. Slowly, the great wing shifted, just a few inches. Tom cheered inside his helmet. He had freed one part, at least a little. After many hours, he returned inside his ship to rest. He floated in his chair, drinking water and eating a ration bar. His body felt heavy, but his mind was light. He looked out through the glass at the dragon. She was still broken, still covered in scars, but he had made progress. Her faint glow was brighter now, her breathing stronger. Tom, her voice said softly, why do you work so hard for me? You could have left long ago. Tom leaned forward, resting his arms on his knees. I told you already. You're alive. That's enough for me. Besides, I think you're worth saving. Her eye opened again, larger this time, glowing with tired light. In all my years, through war and sorrow, no one has spoken to me like this. You are different. I do not understand your kind fully, but I begin to see your strength. Tom shook his head with a faint smile. I'm just a mechanic. Nothing special. No, she said firmly, her voice stronger than before. You are more. Silence filled the ship then, but it was not empty. It was filled with quiet respect, a bond forming deeper with every word. When Tom finally closed his eyes to sleep, he dreamed not of broken ships or lonely travels, but of soaring wings, bright fires, and a world where machines and living creatures moved as one. The work had only just begun, but he felt a spark inside him. This was no ordinary repair job. This was the start of something greater than he had ever known. The dragon drifted in silence, her faint glow brighter than it had been in centuries. And in that forgotten corner of the galaxy, a human and an ancient guardian began a journey that neither could have imagined. Tom had been working on the dragon for several days, maybe longer. Time in space was strange, marked only by his ship's clock and his own exhaustion. He had cleared wide patches of rust and slime, patched cracks with sealant, and reconnected broken energy lines. Slowly, Mother's glow had grown brighter. Her voice was no longer only a whisper in his mind. It was still soft, still heavy with age, but steady enough to carry strength. You are bringing life back to me, Tom, she said one day as he welded near her chest. I can feel warmth spreading again. I had forgotten how it felt. Tom smiled under his helmet. That means I'm doing something right. But even as he worked, his scanner began to trouble him. Faint signals appeared on its display, then vanished, then returned again. At first, he thought they were nothing but random noise. Yet the patterns grew clearer. Small ships were circling at the edges of the system, never close enough to be obvious, but never far enough to be ignored. Tom sat in his cockpit, frowning at the blinking dots. Scavengers, he muttered. Mother's deep voice hummed in his thoughts. Yes. I have felt their eyes for many years. They are like carrion birds, waiting for my fall. When they see your light, they will draw nearer. Tom's stomach tightened. He had no weapons, only his repair tools. His ship was not built for battle. If the scavengers came, he could not fight them off. He turned toward her great eye. Then we'll just have to finish the repairs faster. If you can get some of your power back, maybe you can defend yourself. She closed her eye slowly, as though in thought. Perhaps. But the danger is great. They are many, and they hunger. Tom did not answer right away. He looked at his calloused hands, the small scars from years of fixing machines. He thought of the choice he had made when he first found her, to stay, to help, even when it made no sense. That choice had not changed. "I'm not going to abandon you," he said firmly. "If they come, we'll face them together." The dragon's voice carried a low sound, almost like a sigh. "Then I will trust in you, as you trust in me." The scavenger ships grew bolder as time passed. Tom caught glimpses of them on long-range sensors, shadows shaped like knives, drifting closer in groups. They did not attack yet, but their intent was clear. Word had spread. A living relic, half machine and half beast, was being restored. To scavengers, she was not a guardian or a legend. She was nothing more than a treasure chest waiting to be broken open. Tom worked harder than ever. He stripped parts from his own craft to use on her repairs. He dismantled old panels, energy couplings, and reserve fuel cells, fitting them into her body as best he could. Every hour, his ship grew weaker, but the dragon grew stronger. One evening by his ship's clock, as he was fastening new conduits along her side, Mother spoke with a voice that carried both warning and sadness. "Tom, they will come soon. I can feel their engines. They are gathering." Tom paused, gripping his tool tightly. He looked out into the black. His scanner confirmed it: 3, then 5, then 7 blips moving closer. His heart pounded. He asked quietly, "Can you fight yet?" Her reply was heavy. "Not as I once could. My fire is only a spark. My wings are still bound. If they come now, I cannot win." Tom's jaw tightened. He thought quickly. Running was no use, his ship was too slow, and she was far too large. Hiding was impossible. The only choice left was to keep working, to push her closer to strength before the scavengers made their move. "Then we don't waste time," he said. "I'll keep repairing until the last moment. If I can get even one more system running, it might make the difference." Mother's voice softened. "You risk yourself for me again. Why do you not flee?" "Because I'm stubborn," Tom replied with a faint smile. "And because you deserve a chance." The scavengers finally revealed themselves the next day. Tom's scanner blared alarms as a fleet of small, sharp vessels burst from the darkness. There were more than a dozen, their engines glowing like hungry eyes. They circled at a distance, sending out sharp bursts of signal. Mother translated them for Tom. "They speak of tearing me apart. They think you are a fool, and that I am already theirs." Tom clenched his fists. "Then let's prove them wrong." He worked faster than ever, sparks flying from his torch as he sealed gaps and reconnected lines. Sweat rolled down his back inside his suit. The scavenger ships drew closer, their weapons glowing faint red. Warnings lit up his screens. "They are testing my defenses," Mother said grimly. "They will not wait long." Tom thought quickly. He had one last fuel cell left from his ship. If he connected it to her core, it might give her a sudden surge of energy. It would leave his own craft almost powerless, but he decided instantly it was worth it. He hauled the cell across her vast surface, dragging it with heavy steps. His arms ached, but he reached the opening he had cleared near her chest. He welded the cell in place, then linked it to her broken conduits. Energy hummed, bright and hot. Her chest glowed faintly stronger. Mother's voice deepened. "I feel it, Tom. I feel fire again." Tom exhaled hard, relief mixing with fear. The scavenger ships were moving in now, forming attack lines. Weapons powered up. He could almost feel their greed pressing against him like a storm. "Then hold on," he whispered. "We're not done yet." The first shots fired. Red streaks of plasma raced across the void and struck against her rusted side. Sparks scattered. Her body shook with the impact, but the new patches held. Tom gripped his tools tighter. He knew the real battle had not yet begun, but he also knew this: she was not alone anymore. And neither was he. The first shots rang across the silence of space. Red plasma bolts lit the void as they struck against the dragon's decayed armor. The impacts sent shudders through her massive frame, but she did not fall. The patches Tom had worked on held strong, sealing cracks that would have torn open before. Tom sat in his cockpit, his hands trembling over the controls. His small craft shook with every hit that echoed through her body. He was tiny, powerless against the fleet outside. But his repairs had begun to matter. Each spark of energy he restored gave her a little more strength. "Mother," he said quickly, "I gave you my last fuel cell. Can you use it now?" Her great eye opened, glowing brighter than it had in centuries. Her voice filled his mind with a low rumble. "Yes, Tom. The warmth is spreading. My fire stirs once more." She spread her wings as far as she could. The motion cracked away flakes of rust and barnacle shells, sending them floating into the black like broken stone. Sparks flickered along her body. The scavenger ships hesitated for a moment, watching the giant they thought was half dead begin to move again. "Good," Tom whispered. "Scare them a little." The scavengers responded with another volley. Beams of red light tore through the space around them. One struck near Tom's ship, close enough to make his alarms scream. He gritted his teeth. His own craft could not take much more. Mother's voice grew stronger. "I cannot unleash my full fire yet. But I can give them a taste." Her chest glowed faint orange. For a moment, Tom thought it would fade again. Then, with a roar that shook the silence of the stars, a beam of white-hot light burst from her mouth. It was not as powerful as in her glory days, but it was enough. The beam tore through one scavenger ship, cutting it in half. The wreckage burned as it spun away into the dark. The scavenger fleet scattered in shock. They had come expecting a corpse. Instead, they faced a dragon waking from her sleep. Tom let out a cheer, punching the air inside his cockpit. "Yes. That's it. Show them you're not finished yet." Mother's voice carried a note of pride, though it was weary. "It has been long since I roared. I had forgotten the sound." But the battle was not over. The scavengers regrouped quickly, circling like wolves around a wounded beast. They opened fire again, dozens of bolts crashing against her armor. Her glow flickered, and her wings shook. She was still weak. Tom knew she could not withstand them for long unless he restored more power. He scanned her systems quickly. One conduit line was nearly repaired but still unlinked. If he finished it, the energy might spread to her wings and give her more control. He spoke into the void, "Mother, keep them busy. I'm going out again." "Tom," she warned, the battle is fierce. If you step outside, you may not return. He fastened his helmet, his voice steady. I don't care. If I stop now, you'll fall. I have to do this. Without waiting for her reply, Tom stepped onto her surface again. The sight outside nearly froze him. Plasma bolts streaked all around, burning lines of fire across the black. The scavenger ship started like insects, spitting death. Yet Tom kept moving, dragging himself toward the damaged conduit with clumsy but determined steps. His torch flared as he worked. Sparks flew, mixing with the rain of enemy fire. He felt the vibrations of each hit ripple through her body. At last, he sealed the final joint, linking the conduit fully. Energy surged through the line, glowing bright under his boots. Mother's roar echoed once more, stronger this time. I feel it, Tom. My wings awaken. Her great wings spread wide, stretching farther than before. Streams of light ran across them as energy flowed back into her systems. She beat them once, and the airless void seemed to tremble. The motion sent a wave of debris outward, striking some scavenger ships and forcing them to scatter. She turned her head, her glowing eye fixed on the enemy. With a deep breath, she unleashed another burst of fire. This one was brighter, longer, cutting through two more scavenger ships. Their explosions lit the dark like dying stars. The scavengers panicked. Their tight formation broke, and their signals screamed across Tom's scanner as they tried to regroup. Tom clung to her side, his heart racing. He shouted into his helmet, though no one but her could hear. That's it? You've still got it? Mother's voice filled his thoughts, full of strength now. Not enough, but more than before. Your hands bring me back to life. The scavengers struck again, furious now. Their beams hammered her sides. Some broke through weaker spots, burning into her flesh and metal. Mother groaned, her body trembling. Tom rushed to one wound, sealing it quickly with repair foam, even as the heat seared around him. You will not fall today, he said, his voice shaking but firm. Together they held on. Mother struck out with fire and wing, while Tom patched the cracks that opened under the attack. It was a strange battle, giant and tiny fighting as one, bound not by strength alone but by trust. At last, after losing several ships, the scavenger fleet began to falter. Their signals changed, shifting to retreat. One by one, they pulled away, engines burning bright as they fled into the black. Silence returned. Wreckage floated where the enemy had fallen. Tom sat on her surface, exhausted, staring at the distant glow of retreating ships. He could hardly believe it. They had survived. Mother's great eye opened again, brighter now, her gaze fixed on him. We drove them away, Tom. I had thought myself finished. Yet with you, I rise again. Tom laughed, though it was weak. We're not done yet. But that was a good start. She let out a long, low hum, like the sound of a song forgotten. You are no mere mechanic. You are the flame that has kept me alive. Tom rested his head against the patched metal, too tired to reply. He had given everything he had, and she had risen with him. In that moment, he knew this was no longer just repair work. It was the beginning of something greater, a bond forged in fire and battle, a bond that neither time nor fear could break. The dragon had awakened. And the stars would never be the same again. The scavenger fleet was not gone. They had fled for a moment, but only to regroup and return with more ships. Tom watched the blips on his scanner, heart pounding in his chest. The void of space seemed darker now, full of tension. The enemy wanted the dragon for her parts, her rare metals, and the energy she still held. They had underestimated her and underestimated Tom. Mother's massive eye glowed with renewed strength. "They are returning," she said in a low, rumbling voice. "We must be ready." Tom nodded, checking his tools once more. His own ship was damaged and weak, but he did not care. He had learned something important: courage was not measured by size or firepower. It was measured by will. And he would not let her fall. "Mother," he said firmly, "we will fight together. You may be large, but I am at your side." Her wings flexed slowly. Sparks and heat ran through her frame as energy moved along repaired conduits. "I have not felt such determination in centuries," she said. "Then I will strike with you guiding me." The scavengers returned, a dozen ships at first, then more, a dark storm of sharp metal shapes. They circled, their weapons glowing red, intent on tearing her apart. Tom gritted his teeth and ran through his plan. He would patch as she fought. Every repair he made would give her just enough strength to survive another attack. The first wave struck. Bolts of energy slammed against her sides, shaking loose rust and small chunks of metal. Mother roared, a sound that echoed through the void. She swung her head and unleashed a beam of white-hot fire, cutting through the nearest ships. Explosions illuminated the black, throwing debris into the stars. Tom stepped outside, floating on her massive surface, welding and patching cracks as quickly as he could. Every spark from his torch seemed tiny against her size, but each repair was crucial. A single unpatched breach could end everything. "Tom," Mother said, her voice low and urgent, "they are too many. You must be careful." "I will," he shouted, gripping his tools tightly. "I've got you." The scavengers responded with a focused attack. Bolts struck at her wings, trying to cripple them. Her newly restored energy pulsed through her frame, and she beat her wings in response. The movement sent shockwaves that threw several enemy ships off course. Sparks flew from her armored sides, and a bolt from one of her restored energy conduits struck another, destroying it instantly. Tom worked tirelessly, moving across her side, sealing breaches, connecting loose circuits. The heat of his torch and the vibrations from her body made him dizzy, but he pressed on. He had never moved so fast or so carefully at the same time, but he had learned that the dragon's life and the safety of the stars depended on him. "Mother," he said as he patched another crack, "don't hold back. Strike as hard as you can." Her chest glowed with a sudden burst of energy. She drew in a deep breath and released a stream of fire that carved a path through the fleet. Enemy ships spun and exploded, their hulls torn apart. Several scattered in retreat, while the rest regrouped cautiously. "I had almost forgotten," Mother said, "the power of fire in my body. I remember now what it means to fight." Tom smiled under his helmet, though sweat stung his eyes. "Good. Keep going. You're stronger than they think." The battle raged on for hours. Tom patched, welded, and connected every broken conduit he could reach. Mother struck out with wings, fire, and sheer force. Together, human and dragon became more than a machine or a creature. They became a team, a single force, moving with timing and trust that no enemy could predict. At one point, a shot struck directly near Tom, sending him tumbling across her scales. He quickly recovered, rolling to a patch that needed urgent attention. Mother swung her wing just in time, deflecting another attack. Sparks flew, some catching Tom's suit, but he pressed on. "Do not falter," he shouted into the void. "I will not," Mother replied, her voice deep and commanding. "I fight because you fight with me." The scavenger fleet began to falter. Their formations broke apart, some ships retreating, others disabled by Mother's blasts. Tom could see the exhaustion in their signals, the hesitation. They had expected an easy victory, but this dragon was alive and more dangerous than they had imagined. As the final wave approached, Tom knew he had one chance to turn the tide completely. He guided Mother toward the largest cluster of ships. "Aim for the center," he instructed. "If you hit them together, you can scatter them for good." Mother obeyed. She rose higher, her massive wings spreading wide. Energy surged through her body, shining brighter than ever before. With a deafening roar, she released a focused beam of fire, cutting through the heart of the enemy formation. Ships exploded, scattering debris in all directions. The remaining vessels fled, their engines glowing in panic as they disappeared into the black. Tom floated on her side, breathing heavily. He felt the exhaustion in his body, every muscle aching. Yet he could not stop smiling. They had survived. Against impossible odds, they had survived. Mother lowered her head to him, her glowing eye full of gratitude and pride. "You have given me strength, Tom. I am alive because of you. I thought I would never rise again, but you made it possible." Tom shook his head, exhausted but happy. "We did it together. You fought, and I helped. That's all it takes." Her voice was soft now, almost gentle. "You are more than a mechanic. You are my partner in this battle. I would have fallen without your hands guiding me." Tom laughed quietly, feeling warmth spread through him despite the cold of space. "I guess that makes us a team." Mother's great wings flexed once more, her glow steady now. The stars around them were silent, as if they too were watching the new bond that had formed. Human and dragon, small and enormous, had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious. Tom climbed back inside his ship, exhausted but triumphant. He knew the work was not over. More repairs, more challenges, and more enemies could come. But for now, they had survived. They had proved something important, that courage, trust, and determination could defeat even the greatest threat. As he rested, Mother's glow filled the void, steady and bright. And Tom knew that together, they would face whatever the universe threw at them next. The battle of hope had been won, but the journey was only beginning. The stars stretched endlessly around them, silent witnesses to a bond few could understand. Tom floated beside the dragon, her massive body glowing softly in the darkness of space. The battle with the scavengers was over, but the scars of war remained. Broken metal, scorched patches, and lingering damage marked her once proud frame. Yet she had survived, and in surviving, she had grown stronger than she had been in centuries. Tom looked up at her, awed by her size and presence. He could feel the warmth of her energy from where he floated. "You're incredible," he said softly. "I've never seen anything like you." Mother's eye opened, a deep golden glow lighting the void around her. "Incredible," she repeated, her voice low but steady. "No, I am alive because of you. You did what few could even imagine. You stayed. You repaired me. You risked yourself for a creature older than your records." Tom shook his head. "I didn't do it for glory. I couldn't leave you there. You were alive, and that was enough." The dragon hummed, a sound that resonated through his small craft. It was a sound of pride, relief, and deep gratitude. "Many have feared me. Many have fled. But you, You stayed. He floated closer to her side, examining her now brighter energy conduits. The fire in her chest had stabilized, and faint pulses ran along her wings. The restoration was far from complete, but it was enough. She could move freely, and her fire could now defend herself. Tom knew that in time, with his careful work, she could be fully restored. "Do you feel it?" he asked quietly. "You're stronger now. You can move almost like before." Mother flexed her wings gently. Sparks of energy danced along their edges. "I feel warmth, power, and something I had not felt in centuries, hope." Tom smiled under his helmet. He knew that word carried weight. The dragon had been alone for so long, drifting forgotten in the void. Centuries of isolation had worn her down, left her hollow and slow. Now, she was awakening not only in body but in spirit. "Then let's make sure you don't lose it again," he said. "We can fix the rest together, piece by piece." Her eye focused on him. "You would do this? Even after everything? Even knowing the danger?" Tom's hands rested on the small railing of his ship. "Yes. Because I promised. And because I know you're worth it." There was silence for a moment, only the soft hum of her restored systems filling the void. Then she said, "Tom, I do not fully understand your kind. But I know you have a courage that surpasses most beings I have known. You are small, yet mighty. You carry a fire that matches mine." Tom laughed softly. "I'm just a mechanic. Nothing more." "No," Mother said firmly. "You are more. You are my partner. My guardian. My friend." The words filled Tom with warmth. He had repaired machines, saved ships, and solved countless problems in his life. But nothing had ever made him feel this way, like he mattered, like his actions had truly changed the course of something far greater than himself. "Then," he said, determination steady in his voice, "we move forward together. We'll face anything the universe throws at us. You and me, side by side." Mother hummed, a sound of approval and understanding. "Side by side," she echoed. "I thought myself alone, the last of my kind. But with you, I am not alone anymore." Tom floated along her side, inspecting the remaining damaged areas. He would need time and patience to finish the repairs completely. Each wing, each conduit, each scale needed careful work. But he no longer felt pressure or fear. He felt purpose, knowing that every repair brought her closer to full strength and closer to reclaiming her role as guardian of the stars. "You've taught me something too, Tom," Mother said quietly, almost like a confession. "I had forgotten what it meant to trust, to hope, to rely on another. I thought the universe was only betrayal and loss. Now I remember kindness. I remember loyalty. And I remember friendship." Tom's chest swelled. He had never imagined that a creature so ancient, so immense, could value human companionship. Yet here she was, trusting him with her life, her power, and her story. He knew then that this was more than survival. This was a bond that would last as long as they both lived. He paused, looking into her glowing eye. "You've been through so much. But now, you're not alone. I'll stay with you, and we'll face the future together. No one else needs to fear you, and no one will take you without a fight. I promise." Mother tilted her head, a gesture of acknowledgement and gratitude. Her chest glowed brighter. "I had almost forgotten the strength of companionship. I am grateful to you, Tom. You have given me more than life, you have given me purpose again." Tom felt his chest tighten with emotion. He had always believed that humans were fragile, limited, and small. But here, floating beside a creature older than history itself, he realized that courage, determination, and care could make anyone mighty. Together, they were more than a human or a dragon. They were a force, a team bound by trust, action, and mutual respect. "You've changed me," Mother whispered. "Not just my body, but my heart. I will not forget this, Tom. I will not forget you." "I won't forget you either," Tom replied, smiling. "We been through a lot. And there's still more to do. But we'll do it together." The stars stretched silently around them, indifferent yet majestic. But in the quiet void, there was warmth, light, and life. A human and a dragon, side by side, ready to face the universe together. Tom settled into his small cockpit, exhausted but satisfied. The repairs were ongoing, but he knew that with time, patience, and trust, Mother would rise fully. Her wings would soar, her fire would burn, and together they could explore the galaxies, protect the weak, and bring hope to places where fear had long reigned. Mother shifted her massive body gently, lowering her great head near him. "Tom, my chosen mechanic. My guardian. My friend. The universe will see us, and I will show them what hope looks like." Tom nodded, smiling faintly. "Then let's go show them." For the first time in centuries, the Dragon Mother had risen fully, not just in strength, but in spirit. And Tom knew that together, nothing could break the bond they had forged in fire, trust, and courage. The stars shone down on them, and in that endless black, the legend of the dragon and her human mechanic began anew. Their journey was far from over, but now they were no longer alone. They had found each other, and that was enough to face anything.